the blues, universal, recognizable, undeniable blues. That's our music, Zion. We introduce the blues to the world. The driving cadence, the monotone, the minor note, Psalm 6, David tells the musician, I need you to play this on a stringed instrument, but drop it down an octave. In other words, play the bass. How you want me to play it, David? I want you to listen to your heart, feel your heartbeat. And when you get that heartbeat, just drop it down right below the cadence of your heartbeat. Where you want me to go, David? Nowhere. Stay right there. What you want to say? I want to talk to y'all. What you want to talk to me about, David? I want to talk to him about how when I've done wrong, I'm going to be chastised. But he doesn't chastise me out of anger. I want to talk about when I'm sick. My sickness is not unto death. How can I praise y'all if I'm dead? I want to talk about how the wicked keep troubling me. Just won't seem to leave me alone. I want to talk about how I cried so many tears on my pillow. I felt like I was swimming in my own bed. Stay right there. That's it. Just hold that. Now when you're ready to cry, cry out to y'all. Come on, let's cry. I don't think y'all heard me. Cry again. You cried all right. That was all right. Cry again. Shalom, shalom, all you Israelites, scattered to the four corners of the earth, all 12 tribes strong. Shalom. Welcome once again to Morning Meditations with Morrie. Today's meditation, we find it in Psalm number 6. To the chief musician, Neginoth, upon Sheminith, a psalm of David. So once again, as I mentioned earlier, I was playing the music. It was to try to let you see that here our King gives an instruction to play an octave lower, which means he was playing the blues. So in our Psalms, of course, we see that this particular blues psalm, which is actually a song, which is Psalm number 6, is a song that was to be sung during a time a person was actually going through something. This particular psalm is very interesting because they talk about it being a song of a repentant soul. O Yah, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chastise me in thy hot displeasure. Number one, he says, rebuke me not. Now, notice that he doesn't say, rebuke me not at all. As we meditate upon this Psalm, Zion, he's not asking for Yah not to rebuke him or not to chastise him. Why? because whom Yah loves, he chastens. Whom Yah loves, he rebukes. In other words, even the chastening of Abba Yah is a blessing to Yisrael. Here in our text, no doubt King David is dealing with either a personal failure, and of course, we're not dealing now with the obvious Bathsheba and Uriah, because he mentions that in another song. But either he's dealing with a personal thing that's happened in his own life, or he's talking on behalf of Yisrael, but speaking about Israel in first person. Or he could be writing a song that is reflecting the life of Job, because oftentimes our musicians would take, and we still do it now, we take stories and events that have happened in our ancestors' lives, and we meditate upon those, and then we write music to those songs. Just like when we write music being inspired by events with the 3 Hebrew boys or Daniel or things like that. It doesn't mean that we personally went in the lion's den or was thrown in fire, but we write music about that to remind us and to encourage us. And so when you look at this particular psalm, no doubt Job comes to mind, especially when he starts to talk about how his bones are being broken and in pain. So talk about that. O Yah, rebuke me not in thy anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Yah, for I'm weak. O Yah, heal me, for my bones are vexed. I think 6 times in the book of Job, he talks about his bones, the aching of his bones, the frailty of his bones, the pain in his bones. And of course, if ever anyone has ever experienced like sickness, you also know that when a person is sick, they'll say, boy, even my bones are aching. And so in a very real sense, as we meditate upon Psalm 6, we see that King David could have simply just been sick of something. And during the time that he was actually sick and going through something personally with the pain in his own body, it gave him an opportunity to reflect on anything in his life where he had sinned against the Most High Yah. And he thought about, well, maybe this sickness is a result of Yah's chastening me for my sin. Maybe this vexing and this pain, but he asked for a healing here. He said, because my bones are broken. Then he says, my soul is also sore vexed. So that's why I see 2 things instead of just the one. I see on the one hand, it could be a physical thing. So we talk about physically now going through pain, anguish. But then he says, but my soul is also. And as you meditate upon the text, we know that oftentimes the things that are happening to us in the physical, a lot of times is insight to what's going on with us in the spiritual. I hope you all are understanding that. Zion. So he says, my soul is also vexed, but thou, O Yah, but thou, O Yahuwah, how long? Sometimes when we're going through things, Zion, this is just a meditation time. Sometimes when we're going through things and we're struggling, or we have questions, or we're dealing with sickness or dealing with some other types of pain, one of the things that we always want to know, is this going to last forever? So he asked about it. He says, how long? Then he asks, return, O Yah, deliver my soul. Oh, save me for your mercy's sake. If y'all can't hear the blues in this, that's our music. And when we feel like that, that's the type of music that you hear. That's the type of mood he wanted to put forth in this song. He wanted to be low music. He wanted to be on the low notes. Why? Because he's asking for Yah. Because either he's going through something, or he's speaking on behalf of the nation, or he could be speaking in reference to one of the patriarchs. But whatever it is he's talking about, it relates to you and it relates to me. And so when we toss it over and over in our mind, we start thinking about the fact that, you know what, I've been here. I've gotten sick personally, and during my sickness, I started thinking like, yeah, what have I done? And as we start praying, we say, if it's this, if it's that, if it's this, we pray that it's not unto death. Bones be hurt, and it seems like we can't ever get out. So what does he do? He prays. Listen what he says. Beautiful line in verse 5. Excellent blues line also. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? And this is what he was saying. He says, if you're punishing me and it's a punishment unto death, then that means I'm not going to be able to praise you no more, because who dead can open their mouth and give you praise, honor, and glory? That's what he was saying. And he's like, that's what I live for. I live to give you praise. I live to worship you. I live to honor you. And in my sickness, I feel like I'm in the balance. I don't know which way it's going, but I'm going to ask you to have mercy upon me. I'm going to ask you for your mercy's sake to heal me. Verse 6, I am weary with my groaning all night, all the night, make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. He said, day and night I'm in pain. Now this is, I remember in the other first 5 Psalms, he talked about restful sleep because of his righteousness. And now he's talking about his sleep being disturbed. And he's saying it's because of my sickness and my pain, which tells us that just because that we're righteous don't mean that we don't experience sickness, pain, anguish, bones hurting. This is how we meditate, Zion. This is how we muse, how we turn things over. When we read the psalm, we have to read it like that. We have to see him saying, you know, I'm in pain because physically I'm literally crying, and my bed, I've made my bed to swim. In other words, I'm filling up my bed with water with my tears. Don't that sound like a blues line? I mean, that you can't get no more blues than that. Wow. Listen what he said in verse 7. My eye is consumed because of grief. It waxes old because of all my enemies. He says, and on top of that, on top of my sickness, that's why I believe he's really referring maybe to Job. We'll get into that later. But he says one of the interesting things is, my eye is consumed with grief. It waxes old because of all my enemies. He's like, and on top of me being sick, and my soul is in anguish, and I'm in pain down to the bone, and I'm crying every night, and I'm asking you to heal me and restore me. And for whatever I did, if you are chastising me, chastise me, but don't kill me. Help me to understand what's happening and raise me up. He says, but then when I look around, my enemies see me sick, and they're now vexing me as though I've done something, or though I am being forsaken of you. And ain't that what people do? Yep, there you go. That's what you get. That's what you get. He said, no, in this blues song, this is what he said. Verse 8, depart from me, all you workers of iniquity, for Yah has heard the voice of my weeping. He said, listen, everybody around me want to keep talking bad about me. Y'all can get to step. Depart from me. Get away from me. I don't need that kind of talk. Why, David? Because y'all heard me. How do you know he heard me? I can feel it. What do you mean you can feel it? I can feel it in my bone. I feel myself getting stronger. Depart from me, you worker of iniquity, for Yahuwah has heard the voice of my weeping. Yahuwah has heard my supplication. Yahuwah will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. It's a very short meditation today, Zion. Our king was going through some stuff. We don't know if it was just a personal prayer, although it could be that. A prayer for the nation, a prayer reflecting on the pain and anguish of Job. But whatever it is, we can read this psalm knowing that just because a person gets sick, just because a person has a sword, just because a person is heavily laden and have to cry at night, that does not mean that Yah has forsaken you. That does not mean that Yah has forgotten you. That does not mean that the enemies are, what they saying about you is true. He said, no, Yah heard me. Yah knows my groanings. He heard my call. And all you enemies are going to be ashamed, because this particular thing I'm going through, he said, is definitely not unto death, but it's for the praise and it's for the honor of Almighty Yah. So every now and then, we get a psalm that's played in the key of the blues, in the cadence of the blues, and the low octave of the blues, but then it always ends on a high note. It always ends with us looking to Yah, who hears us and answers our prayer. I pray this has been helpful in our meditation. Psalm 6, the blues. Be strong, Zion. It's going to be all right. Shalom.